Why must a caseworker have 3 supervisors?
We have an initial supervisor 1 that is essentially a backup to the unit supervisor. The unit supervisor has a manager, a case protective manager, who supervises a number of units.
And very often, these 2 supervisors and this caseworker has another supervisor.
It's 4 so far.
Right. They are represented by a child welfare attorney who practices here in the court.
5.
5. Now, they get this 1 child. Usually it's more than 1 in a family, but let's say they get this 1 child. And the city decides we are going to subcontract the care of that child to a private care agency, another business. There are many of them, but it's a private agency. That private agency has a caseworker, a supervisor. That supervisor has a supervisor, and minimally, that agency also has a lawyer that we all pay for. Now, we are paying for 9 people
For 1 child.
for that child.
I've had a number of discussions with children's aid societies, for example, who, as I understand it now, are hiring individuals who are trained as social workers, and they're not calling them social workers, they're calling them child protection workers, and because of that feel that these individuals, these employees, don't have to be registered as social workers or social service workers.
That whole issue requires intervention. It probably requires government intervention.
In fact, the government of the day is giving them that latitude. That was never the intention of this legislation. In fact, what these organizations are doing, and in my opinion, what the children's aides are doing who are supporting this practice, is that they're intentionally circumventing this act. The purpose of this act was to ensure especially that children who are being served by social workers have professional service and are protected.
You know, we don't, you know, lawyers are licensed and we have a governing body and no one can practice law without being a member of the governing body. The same thing if you're a physician, you know, you've got your body that you have to meet their requirements, and the same with psychologists. And this notion that we have about social workers that can choose to be registered or not be registered, and as a result are governed by a college or not, it seems to me cannot be in the public's interest. And the idea that children's aid societies don't hire registered social workers is an abomination.
And in my opinion, for a children's aid society whose mandate it is to protect children, to actually create a bureaucratic way of allowing people to sidestep being registered as social workers or social service workers is unconscionable.
The Children's Aid Society was supposed to protect Sophia and Serena Campione, so how did the worst possible outcome, the murder of both children, occur?
Sometimes things happen and we don't understand, and that is where this situation is right now.
Ballantyne says they have 12,000 children under their care, and short of living with them, there's no way they can assure their safety 24 hours a day.